Okay, so we've got question 5b part 2. Describe how the compiler reports errors. So we talked about in the previous part of this question how the compiler translates the computer program. We also said that there's another type of software that converts high-level language to low-level language, and that is the interpreter, and it works differently. It also the interpreter and compiler also report errors differently as well. So the interpreter will happily work through each line of the code one at a time until it gets to an error, and when it gets to an error it will stop. So you might actually be able to run half of your code and see what happens until you get to an error, and then you fix that error and then you carry on. Whereas the compiler works differently. It will try and compile all of the code, and then when it gets to the end of the code, if it's found any errors, it won't produce the executable file, but it will give you a report of the errors that you need to fix before hopefully your code will run. Now you might fix those errors and you might encounter another error, but that would also come out the next time you try to compile it. So let's try and get 2 marks for that. So describe how a compiler reports errors. The compiler will try to compile the whole source code. We've already said about object codes. There's no point in mentioning that again, but you could if you wanted to. The compiler will try to compile the whole source code into object code. I'm not going to say that. If errors are encountered, they will all be in an error report. These will need to be corrected before an executable file is created. Well, that's not very neat, is it? Okay, let's see the mark schemes. It creates an error report after trying to compile the code. So we've said that it will try to compile the code, and we've said error. We mentioned it will get an error report, so we've got that. Displaying all the errors, we've said if errors are counted, they will all be. We've said that it will all be, and we've also talked about the fact that they will need to be corrected before an executable file is created. So we've got more than 2 marks there, but it doesn't hurt to add a little bit more just to ensure that you're picking up as many marks as possible. Okay, right, so hopefully that's helped with compilers and interpreters if they come up. Let's stop this one, on to the next one. Thank you very much.